How would you react if you realized your neighbor knew your daily routine better than you did? Not just when you left for work, but when you were alone, vulnerable, and unprotected. And what if that neighbor wasn't just watching, but waiting? This is the true survival story of Naomi Smith. Naomi lived in a quiet, gated neighborhood in Ohio, the kind of place where porch lights stayed on at night and strangers were noticed immediately. It was the type of community people moved into because they believed nothing bad could happen there. Naomi and her husband, Daniel, had lived in their modern two-story home for 3 years. Daniel worked in logistics and traveled often, sometimes gone for days, occasionally weeks. Naomi worked remotely as a project coordinator, spending most of her time at home with their dog, Milo. By all accounts, their life was stable, predictable, safe. And that predictability would almost cost Naomi her life. 2 houses down lived Evelyn Carter. She was in her early 40s, always well-dressed, always smiling. She volunteered at church, brought over baked goods during holidays, and remembered everyone's birthdays. She waved every morning at exactly 8:10 a.m., right when Daniel usually pulled out of the driveway. At first, Naomi found it comforting. Evelyn was the type of neighbor people trusted without question. She watched houses when families traveled. She took in packages. She asked how you were doing, and waited for the answer. But slowly, Naomi began to notice something that felt off. Evelyn didn't just ask how Naomi was. She asked when. When does Daniel usually get back from his trips? Do you always walk Milo at night, or just weekends? You work from home, right? So you're alone most days. The questions were framed casually, friendly. Still, Naomi brushed off the discomfort. After all, Evelyn lived nearby. It was normal to be curious. Or so she thought. It started with the trash. Naomi noticed her trash bins had been moved, rolled back toward the house instead of left at the curb. At first, she assumed Evelyn was being helpful. Then came the packages. Naomi received delivery notifications before the packages arrived. When she checked her door, they were already inside the porch enclosure, something she never remembered unlocking. One afternoon, Naomi mentioned it casually. "That's funny," Evelyn said with a smile. "I figured I'd save you the trouble. You're usually on calls around that time." Usually. That word stuck. Naomi had never told Evelyn her work schedule. That night, Naomi checked her phone's step tracker. Every weekday, she walked Milo at 7:42 p.m. Almost on the dot. The same time Evelyn's porch light flicked on. Let me ask you this. At this point, would you feel flattered or afraid? Drop a comment and tell me what you would have thought if you were Naomi. The turning point came on a Tuesday night. Daniel was out of state. Naomi was alone. She fell asleep on the couch and woke up just after midnight to Milo growling low. Quiet, restrained. Not barking. Staring. Naomi's front motion light was on. She checked the camera feed from her phone. The front yard was empty. No cars. No movement. Then she rewound the footage. At 11:47 p.m., Evelyn stood at Naomi's front gate. Not knocking. Not calling. Just standing there. Watching the house. For 6 full minutes. When Naomi confronted her the next morning, Evelyn laughed it off. "Oh my goodness," she said. "I thought I saw someone suspicious near your mailbox. You know how unsafe things are getting these days." Unsafe. In a gated community with private security? Naomi nodded politely, but something had shifted. She started locking doors more deliberately, checking windows twice, turning cameras on even during the day. And then came the notebook. Naomi found it accidentally. It was tucked behind the fence line separating her yard from Evelyn's, a small black notebook, water-stained but intact. Inside were dates, times, notes. Monday through Friday, Daniel leaves 8:10 a.m. dog walk. 7:40, 7:50 p.m. lights off upstairs. 11:15 p.m. Alone nights equals travel weeks. Naomi's stomach dropped. This wasn't curiosity. This was surveillance. Would you confront her immediately? Call the police? Or quietly start planning your escape? Tell me what you would do, because Naomi hesitated. And that hesitation nearly killed her. Before Naomi could decide, Evelyn made the first move. That evening, Naomi received a message from an unknown number. You shouldn't be home alone tonight. Minutes later, another message followed. Daniel isn't coming back. Naomi froze. She called Daniel. No answer. She checked flight trackers. His return had been delayed. That's when someone knocked. Softly. 3 times. Naomi looked through the peephole. Evelyn stood there, no smile this time. Just calm. Calculated. I know you found the notebook, Evelyn said through the door. We need to talk. Naomi backed away, heart racing. Milo barked now. Loud. Frantic. Evelyn leaned closer to the door. I was sent to make this look like an accident, she said quietly. But I don't like messes. So let's be reasonable. Sent. By who? And to do what? Naomi locked herself in the bathroom and called emergency services while Evelyn began trying the door handles. Methodical, patient. The dispatcher stayed on the line as Naomi whispered details through shaking breaths. Evelyn didn't shout. She didn't threaten. She waited. Because she knew Naomi's schedule. And she knew help wouldn't arrive for 9 minutes. What would you do if the person waiting outside your door knew exactly how long it would take for help to arrive? Not approximately. Not any minute now. But down to the second. Naomi Smith knew she had 9 minutes. 9 minutes before someone decided her fate for her. Naomi crouched on the cold bathroom floor, phone pressed tightly to her ear, whispering as the emergency dispatcher urged her to stay calm. Outside the bathroom door, the house was quiet. Too quiet. Evelyn wasn't forcing entry. She wasn't shouting threats or breaking windows. She was doing something far worse. She was waiting. Naomi watched the bathroom door handle through tear-blurred eyes. Every creak of the house sounded amplified. The refrigerator hum, the ticking clock down the hallway, Milo's nails scraping nervously against the tile as he paced. Then came the sound Naomi would later describe as the most terrifying noise of her life. A soft click. The front door unlocking. Naomi froze. I didn't lock it, she whispered into the phone. The dispatcher's voice sharpened. Ma'am, get somewhere secure. Barricade if you can. But Evelyn already knew where Naomi would go. Because she had studied her. Footsteps echoed through the living room. Slow. Measured. Not searching. Purposeful. Evelyn's voice drifted through the house. Calm and eerily intimate. You always go to the bathroom when you're scared, she said. You did it during the storm last summer. Remember. Naomi clamped a hand over her mouth. Evelyn laughed softly. I learned people reveal everything when they think they're safe. Naomi looked around desperately. No window. No second exit. Just one locked door and a thin wall separating her from someone who had already decided how this would end. Then Evelyn said something that made Naomi's blood run cold. "Daniel figured it out," she said. "That's why he travels so much." Naomi's heart pounded as Evelyn continued, almost conversationally. "Your husband isn't just in logistics. He moves money. Sensitive money." People noticed. Naomi had never known the details of Daniel's work, only that it paid well and required discretion. Apparently, someone else had been paying attention too. When Daniel stopped cooperating, Evelyn said, they needed leverage. Naomi realized the truth too late. She wasn't the target. She was the message. At this moment, would you still believe survival was possible? Or would fear convince you it was already over? Tell me in the comments what you would be thinking right now. Evelyn tried the bathroom door. Once. Twice. Then she stopped. "I don't want to hurt you," she said softly. "But I will if I have to. That depends on how cooperative Daniel decides to be." Naomi's phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. "Are you okay?" Naomi typed with shaking hands. "Evelyn is here. She knows everything." 3 dots appeared. Then vanished. Then another message came through. "Listen carefully. The spare key." Naomi's breath caught. Daniel had hidden a spare key years ago, inside the air vent behind the guest room bookshelf. Only he and Naomi knew. Or so they thought. Evelyn laughed from the hallway. "You really think I didn't find that?" Naomi realized something horrifying. The notebook wasn't just observation. It was preparation. As Evelyn worked on the lock, Naomi scanned the bathroom frantically. That's when she noticed it. The window latch above the shower. It was loose. Barely holding. Evelyn had documented Naomi's routines, but not her repairs. Not the things that happened outside her perfect schedule. Naomi stood, balancing on the edge of the tub, every movement slow, controlled. She pushed gently. The latch snapped. Cold night air rushed in. The window opened just enough. Outside was a narrow drop into the side yard. Dark, cluttered, uneven. But it was an exit. Naomi whispered into the phone. "I'm going out the window." "Police are 3 minutes away," the dispatcher said. "Can you stay hidden?" 3 minutes. Naomi had no choice. The bathroom door rattled violently. Evelyn had lost patience. Naomi shoved the window open and pulled herself halfway out, then froze. Evelyn's voice was suddenly right behind her. "I knew you'd try this." Naomi turned. Evelyn stood in the doorway, eyes flat, smile gone. She lunged. Naomi kicked backward blindly and felt Evelyn's grip miss her ankle by inches. Naomi fell hard into the bushes, pain exploding through her side, but she didn't stop. She ran. Barefoot. Bleeding. Through darkness. Behind her, Evelyn screamed, not in rage, but frustration. "Stop running." Naomi didn't look back. Security lights flooded the street as Naomi burst into the open, collapsing near the guardhouse. Sirens followed seconds later. Loud, overwhelming, real. Police arrived to find Evelyn still inside Naomi's home. Composed. She didn't resist arrest. She didn't deny anything. She simply said one thing. "I was running out of time." The investigation uncovered a chilling truth. Evelyn Carter wasn't her real name. She had been embedded in the neighborhood for over 2 years, placed there deliberately to monitor Daniel's movements. Naomi's routines had become collateral intelligence. The notebook was just a fraction of what she had recorded. Daniel was taken into protective custody. Naomi never returned to that house. Neighbors were interviewed, most shocked, some ashamed. Everyone had trusted Evelyn. Because she smiled. Because she waved. Because she went to church. Before being transferred, Evelyn asked to speak to Naomi. Naomi refused. So Evelyn left a message instead. You survived because you broke your routine. If this story made you rethink the people around you, subscribe for more true crime survival stories where ordinary lives brush against unthinkable danger. Because sometimes, survival isn't about strength. It's about noticing the one detail the predator overlooked. This was the neighbor who knew her schedule. More stories are coming.